Hey guys, what is up? Sorry for the late start. I've had a lot of stuff working on and getting set up. Just wanted to cover what's going on here. There are some hearings coming up next week. A lot of weird stuff going on with Luna's recollection of forgetting the name of Eric Davis, not remembering who UAP Gerb is, and all these sorts of funny things happening where no one knows what's going on. No one running the conference knows what's going on. Nobody at the conferences or testifying at the conferences knows what's going on. It just doesn't seem like. But the list of the people who are testifying has just come out. Let's UFO hearing witness list. So 4 people have been identified on the witness list. Let's bring that up on screen right now. People can see that. So the Committee on Oversight. So this whole governmental oversight hearings that are supposed to be happening. These are the 4 people they have testifying now. I've never heard of 3 of them. I mean, George Knapp, I guess, is finally going to testify. I wonder if they're going to ask him any informed questions on Bob Lazar. I have many. If they need some, they can come to me. I would be happy to draft questions and write questions that could be asked to George Knapp. He ran away from me in 2019 at AlienCon when I approached him with my folder on Bob Lazar. He totally ran from me. So if you want good questions to ask George Knapp that will make him squirm and be very uncomfortable, I will be happy to provide some to you. There's plenty that you could ask him about. He's talked a lot about the whole history with Bob Lazar. There's I have a video. If people want to go to my channel and look up, you can go to go to this one, my fake account here. So next week is the hearing is on the 9th. So I have scheduled on the 8th, the day before the hearing. So the 9th is a Tuesday. So Monday, the day before the hearing, I'm going to be hosting an all-day stream, 10 in the morning, and I want people to jump on. And I'm going to be inviting a host of whistleblowers, our own whistleblowers, people who weren't called back to Congress to testify, and we're going to be having our own whistleblower hearing. And at 12 noon, high noon, is going to be an open lines where pretty much anyone can call in with witness testimony and information. And we'll be doing just opening up the floor. But I'm going to be presenting my UAP technical summary I put together. People can view that on the I'll post a link right here in the chat. But I'm going to be going over, giving an updated presentation of my whole technical summary on the UAP field, talking about, all the things that Brian Keaton mentioned in his epic fail rant on UFOs not being scientific and there being no supply chain for these technologies and no history. All that's been classified. Like that whole section of physics was classified for decades. And so it's no surprise you don't know any of this stuff. I brought Brian Keaton on my show and asked him about a lot of this stuff, and he just had no clue. He knows his narrow field and his line of research and his experimental and his physics and stuff, but he does not have a working knowledge of classified the whole history of Operation Paperclip and how they were brought to Redstone Arsenal, and where, by the way, Space Force is returning to Redstone Arsenal, where a lot of these technologies originated and came from, which is another interesting thing. So, and there's debate on whether Roswell was early space program, secret space program testing, and whether these materials actually have an extraterrestrial origin, or if a lot of them can be traced back to real programs, real technologies, real research, real materials, real material science, and also kind of curious that the people that discovered the guy that discovered quasi crystals did his postdoctorate fellowship at Aerospace Research Labs at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio in 1974. Discovered quasi crystals just a few years after that. So there are some questions about some of the origins of some of these materials and discoveries and where they came from. Wright-Patterson allegedly where the Roswell debris is kept, and the UFO file headquarters. So it's curious that Dan Sheckman would discover quasi crystals after doing his postdoc fellowship at Wright-Patterson in 74. Of course, the mainstream scientific community's response to this discovery was less than flattering, but such things always happen. And then I talk about whistleblowers like Area 51 employee Edgar Fouché, who talked about quasi-crystals in 1998 and said that these metamaterials and quasi-crystals were a huge focus of a lot of the research that went on out at Area 51 back in the 70s and 80s, and that a lot of these secret craft that were developed came from Nazi experiments or Nazi technology and knowledge and history, like the similarities between the Mercury centrifuge gravity disruptor in the TR-3B and the Nazi Bell experiment, and descriptions of the Nazi Bell experiment, Die Glock, which took place on the Polish-Czechoslovakian border in the mountains. Project Reese was actually called, RIESSE. But I talk about, I've done a lot of research into the Bob Lazar case. I could get tons of questions that we could ask George Knapp that would make him totally go on the spot. But I'm going to be giving an updated version of this presentation, talking about 1940s documents with a supply evidence chain of UFO materials that were recovered at UFO sightings and crash sites and thus, and are in the actual documentation, actual metallurgical specimens that were documented, had a chain of custody, and then went to companies like Battelle, where they disappeared into a black hole, along with a lot of interesting history on Battelle. They currently manage all of our national labs, so real conflict of interest there, and the idea of that we have any kind of knowledge of classified science when so many patents get scooped up by the patent holding companies that exist at each one of these labs, specifically for the process of keeping certain technological discoveries classified. That's a big oversight problem. It's certainly has been raised in the past. It needs to be brought up at these hearings if they're expect to have any sort of oversight over the processes of technological disclosure and getting access to the real information and the real technologies. Of course, none of that is going to be included in these hearings. These hearings are a contrived fraud. Literally, where's the video that I watched the other day? With New Paradigm Institute, right? The New Paradigm Institute put out this watch this new video that was put out by New Paradigm Institute just one day ago. If you guys want to get some background, he basically admits that this whole these hearings is controlled disclosure. This is a controlled disclosure. It's set up this way to come out this way. Everyone here, including Jesse Michaels and Tim Gallaudet, these people are all working for a controlled disclosure. They think it's a safe and responsible way to bring this out to the American people. And basically what that is in my opinion, is a limited hangout operation. It's this is what's called, it's a propaganda tool that they use. There's Peter Skafish. These guys set up a limited hangout. They control the narrative on what gets disclosed and what doesn't. So a limited amount of stuff gets brought out to the public. Well, the majority of a lot of real information and stuff doesn't. You know, of course, the scientific stuff, all the technical research, and the decades of classified programs and research into science and the capabilities, all that stuff's going to be super classified. It's not even going to be brought up in the hearings at all. And a lot of it's going to be swept under the rug, and including a lot of stuff that needs to be talked about in these oversight hearings. Need to dig into the deep aerospace connections, how they go back to the companies that were involved in other deep events, and the whole history of that. You know, it's really the secret colleges, all that stuff. It goes super deep and connects to so much other classified stuff. There's physical explanations and technological explanations for a majority of the stuff that we're seeing out there. A majority of the craft that we're observing, the UFO and UAP encounters, and these things can be explained, I believe, by technology that we're currently in possession of. I've interviewed the experts who worked at Area 51 to talk about this stuff, and I have, you know, all the receipts and documentation to back this up. You know, going back to the scientists that were working on electric airplanes 100 years ago that were classified, and you know, some of the projects that have been out there that can explain a number of, like the Mosul sphere sighting, the cube within a sphere kind of balloon that they talk about, the fact that these things can do radar signatures where they travel 80,000 feet in just a few seconds. Well, Project Palladium was a 1940s CIA project that developed ways to spoof radar into seeing these types of movements and accelerations, which were just not physically and humanly possible. Talk about the Tic Tac like craft that operated in this, you know, San Diego area, the same place where these things were observed during the same time period. Nobody likes to talk about those or that stuff. Even the Tesla patents are, you know, worth talking about, and some of the Biefeld-Brown effect stuff. And of course, you know, the Biefeld-Brown effect, there was a $50,000 challenge put out by Jesse Michaels on this, and we spent a great deal of effort and time to reproduce the Biefeld-Brown effect in a vacuum, and did not even get credit when the video was brought up by Jamie to Jesse Michaels on Joe Rogan. He just threw us under the bus. And instead of flying to New Jersey to film our experiments and having champagne with us and our victory over disinformation regarding this whole Biefeld-Brown effect stuff, and we could get some scientists down there. We had a whole team of scientists ready to confirm it and work on it and do this live with Jesse. But instead, he chose to fly to Peru to cover these Nazca mummies, which, you know, they're dolls. They're dolls, dude, made from earthly bones, mutilated human corpses. You know, nothing has three fingers like this that can actually pick up and do anything technologically with it. You need a thumb, an opposable thumb, in order to like pick up and manipulate and handle complex objects and tasks. I mean, this thing's not going to take my cell phone apart. A real alien would be able to take your cell phone apart, no problem. This thing has three fingers on the hand. It's obvious that they took a human hand, chopped off the thumb, and chopped off the pinky, and then you got this tridactyl hand that looks alien with the three fingers. And it's really disgusting and a shame that they pawn these off on people as real aliens and stuff. And that's all Jaime Maussan, known hoaxer, and the things that the eggs inside them. These are all the worst science that I've ever seen come out of the UFO movement. This is like the most facepalm fake, obviously fake. Like, I do not need to consult a forensic osteologist, although I've talked to a friend of mine who's a forensic osteologist, asked her about this. She laughed. Yeah, these things are a joke. No serious scientist is going to attach themselves to these things. Any scientist that thinks they're serious and wants to come on my show and present this stuff are welcome. And I've not gotten a single email of anyone willing to put their put this up to scrutiny. And it just doesn't happen. These people will attack me, say mean things about me, tell other people bad stuff about me, that I'm such a bad person, or I'm not a real scientist because I don't take these seriously, and how I'm not really a scientist at all, and all this stuff because I'm skeptical, and I have tons of questions about the veracity and validity of those what look to me as obviously fake or mutilated human remains. But anyways, yeah, that's a whole rabbit hole. I don't know why Jesse Michaels thinks that's real science or worthy of coverage and talking to Joe Rogan about, when we have this Byfeld Brown stuff, we have the Charles Bueller stuff. I mean, this is huge news. It could be new science. I sunk my life savings into this disclosure movement and everything that we've done these past 10 years, the APEC conference and everything else. And I really honestly, I thought I'd be running my own emerging aerospace tech company by now with the discoveries that we've made. But, we've sunk a lot of money into experiments on trying to unify extended electrodynamics into gravity. Some of the, all the past history of ideas of how to do this, and the research that we've put together on trying to figure this stuff out and reproduce 80 plus years of classified science research, and we haven't made a single valid discovery yet. We don't have anything to bring to an investor and say, look, this works, and we've got anti-gravity. We can start a spaceship company. And we were all taken in by the TTSA techno scam. I know 30 million was taken from investors. I know someone personally that invested his life savings, $1 million into TTSA, thinking that there would be a payoff in this technology coming out and companies being formed around disclosure and release of these technologies. And that never, ever happened. Oh, yeah. You see Ashton Forbes taking, totally stealing everything. Dude, he hasn't given me any credit. Like, all the science that he's talking about and poorly repeating and reporting on is like all stuff that literally stolen from my channel, which is shadow banned, and he's taking full advantage of that. So yeah, the Tom Lucre, let's talk about this, because Dom Lucre, I don't know if you've heard of this guy before, but he's called the breaker of narratives. Please make sure he knows that if he really wants to break the narrative on UFOs, that he needs to talk to me. He needs to interview me and get me on. I already emailed him a request to be on the podcast. But yeah, look at this. Look at Ashton Forbes. Damn, no credit for making this connection. I've been trying to tell people the U.S. has gravity manipulation tech and free energy, but people aren't really ready for all that. Okay, we're ready for it. We've done decades of experiments in our lab and reproduced this stuff, but we don't have evidence of that. So you've been trying to tell people that we have this manipulation tech. Well, they've done a lot of gravity manipulation research, but do we have the tech? I don't think we can make that leap, Ashton. I know it's popular and maybe gets you a lot of clicks and views to say that we have that leap, but do we really have it, bro? Or are you just being a mouthpiece for this disinformation, this Cold War propaganda that was basically generated to convince the Russians that we had all this tech? Is this real? I mean, what is really going on? And then him trying to take credit. Look, you are tagged in this. I personally tagged you in this video, and no, he didn't. He didn't tag Ashton in that video, and Ashton isn't even the one who should be tagged in the damn video, because if you look in the top corner of the video, well, you find the original video. It's not in this one. This one's clipped and cut, but you can see the people talking up in the left corner, and one of those people is me. My name is right there, and I'm the one who recorded this conversation, this interview, because people were saying, you know, when I have a source like this, and you know, some of these conversations, I do record just so I have a record of this stuff, because you never know what's going to happen when it's, you know, you never know when one of these people are going to die or vanish, and if you don't have that recording, then you know, people are going to have a vacuum of information to try to make assumptions in. And yeah, man, that's why he's, you know, and I don't know what's going on with Ashton either. I got doxxed while I called him out. No, you know, there are reasons to suspect those videos are CGI. I don't believe them. There's so much AI fakery these days, and the whole thing with the MH370 case is those Freescale semiconductor scientists that were working on all the pre-COVID contact tracing, smart dust technologies, and all that stuff. That is key to understanding, you know, the whole narrative on that, because, you know, the Blackstone group and BlackRock, there's a connection there, and they're meant to sound similar and obscure. There's also the Black Cube. We talked about these entities, so the Blackstone Incorporated and BlackRock. These are Wall Street scams. These are the people, the Epstein network that really runs this country, you know, behind the scenes. These are the people that, of course, the Larry Silverstein was connected with the Blackstone group, as I talk about with the whole AIG connection with 9/11 and all that stuff. But there's a lot going on there with the Epstein files and how it connects to 9/11 with, you know, of course, Epstein's neighbor, Howard Lutnick, the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, that missed work, and along with so many other CEOs in the World Trade Center that day. Again, people want more information on that. They can check out the work that Corbett Report has done, and some of my collaborations with Corbett Report on 9/11 investigations back in the day. We've been doing this for 14 plus years, and it was great to see Corbett Report interview Kurt Weldon. This dropped about earlier today, and is definitely worth checking out if you want to get into the real truth of government accountability and oversight. People that aren't talking about like things like 9/11 and JFK and how they connect to all this stuff is they're misinformed, and they're hiding a lot of the picture from you. So there is a lot going on right now with regards to all kinds of stuff. So yeah, definitely check out this interview and look into this guy, John Quirk. This guy, John Quirk, I'd never heard of him before, but man, they killed him with a fast-acting cancer, these turbo cancers. And those go back to Lee Harvey Oswald, and you know, the whole thing there with Judith Baker, right? Judith Very Baker blew the whistle on a lot of this stuff, and trying to get her to come on the show as well. But it's crazy that Ashton's here trying to take credit for the Amy Eskridge thing, and, you know, complaining that Dom's, you know, not giving him credit. And Dom's like, oh yeah. well, why does Ashton deserve any credit for any of this? Like, he wasn't involved in any of this. He didn't know Amy. He didn't record that interview. He's been just being a mouthpiece for the same kind of idiots that are using Amy's death and her legacy to spread more propaganda about anti-gravity technology. There's tons of people that are like, oh, Amy had real anti-gravity technology, and look at this one little out of context clip that I play of this interview that I recorded with her, and she disrupted our APEC group, told us we were all wrong, our research avenues were all wrong, everyone was stupid but her and her dad, and that she was the one who was going to have the anti-gravity technology and bring it out to the world. And I called her the time-traveling disclosure princess because she said that she was the princess of disclosure. Her dad was the king of all this UFO anti-gravity stuff with his work at NASA, and that she was going to be the disclosure princess. And yeah, and then all the time traveling stories about her future self coming back in time, and all these other people traveling through time to mess with our current timeline, and yeah, all that weird stuff, man. So it's just a bunch of insanity. And you see all these disinfo accounts on here. You know, there's a few on here like they're saying like that. How is this credibility? And there's other people, you know, just making up all kinds of nonsense. So the narrative's completely lost. All truth that was in any of this is gone now, and they've replaced it with a new narrative where now people are saying that, you know. I mean, I get comments on my video to this day, like I went on this video on my channel. The original full version of this video is on my my Jeremy Riss YouTube channel if people want to check that out. But this one right here, yeah. So here's the full interview. It's a 3-hour long. If you want to see the full clip. Here's me up in the corner. I'm the one who recorded this, my screen capture. I screen capture recorded it, so it doesn't actually pick up. It only pictures my speaker output, so it didn't capture my audio. People have accused me of purposely removing my audio for all kinds of reasons. And then I get comments on this video. You know, I got one comment and it said, "Oh, do you ever feel guilty?" And that's all it said, and it had like 3 likes. And it's like, dude, there's people literally trying to blame me for Amy Eskridge's death, and saying all kinds that even people alleging that I did horrible, all these, me and Mark did all these horrible things to her, and that we killed her. And there's so much crazy counter narrative going on right now out there in the movement. And this is all Lou Elizondo's people, man. They desperately don't want you digging down those rabbit holes or looking into the stuff. And if you do, they want you finding all the wrong information and getting completely turned off by the real sources, so that people like will believe all this wrong information about all this stuff, and then attack the sources of the good information. And so they've really done a good job of demonizing, you know, people like me and Mark, and also creating a hero worship out of Amy, like that. Now she's this poor hero that was, you know, the whole narrative's completely like fucked on this and changed, and what they've done. Covered up so much of the real science research and the real the technical feasibility of using material science to create exotic propulsion technologies. And again, you know, there are many other scientists working on this topic with a lot of different theories for how it works. And man, I would do anything to be able to testify at this hearing. Unfortunately, I'm not able to go, dude. Like, I'm not able to go to this. Well, people are sitting here accusing, you know, me of being paid by the deep state to kill Amy and hush up the real disclosure and cover up the truth. And none of that's true. It's all disinformation put out, and I don't know who these people are. This task force and these hearings are, again, this is a joke. This is a joke, and we need real whistleblowers. Yeah, Ken vanished off the face of the planet. No idea where he is. He won't return phone calls or text messages. No idea where he is. So, but again, yeah, it's pretty crazy, dude. I don't even know what's going on with all that. But Dom Lucra, please email him here. Email Dom. Say, listen, Ashton Forbes does not know what he's talking about. Like, he's trying to take credit for something that is not his and that he doesn't really have the real information about. And he needs to talk to Jeremy Riss. Tell him to get Alien Scientist on ASAP. I need... The hearings are a joke. The hearings will be a joke. All the people that are scheduled to testify at these hearings is controlled, limited hangout version of disclosure. They've created all these false whistleblowers like David Grush and Lou Elizondo. They're all part of the same NIDS group and the group connected with George Knapp. This is all a show being run by George Knapp. Do yourself a favor and ask Grok, who is George Knapp married to, and how might this be a conflict of interest in getting truth from him testifying at UFO hearings? So it will tell you George Knapp's wife is the daughter of like the guy who's involved in all this stuff. So George Knapp is an insider. He was the guy that, don't forget, the CIA chose and handpicked to lead the disclosure of the UK, the USSR, of the collapse of the USSR. When the Soviet Union fell, they released all their UFO files, if you recall. And George Knapp was the guy that the CIA handpicked and selected to be the liaison to release all those files to the public. So he has been a controlled disclosure personality for a long time now. As I mentioned, he's promoted fake science disclosure with the whole Bob Lazar story. And I encourage people to watch my my Bob Lazar videos, specifically the one here, this one, which is the real Bob Lazar story: inconsistencies, contradictions, and lies. I will share the link to this below. This is a collection of clips which really fill in a lot of context on the Bob Lazar story. And I really hope so, man. Yeah, let Ashton come on and debate me. I would love that. Let's get him on for a final one-on-one. If he won't do it, I'm going to try and get Ian Crossland or Tim Pool to do it. It needs to. It's long overdue, man. Like, soon, man. My time should have come 6 months ago, not 6 months in the future. There's this video. People want to go check it out. I have a whole collection of clips which just destroy the narrative on Bob Lazar. And ADHD editing. Yeah, that's what it was, man. So we got to get these guys on. We gotta explain the narrative control and break the narrative on this. We absolutely need that. I followed Dom on here. I want you guys to follow Dom Lucre too, and please leave a comment. Tell this community that this is, it's important, man. This is real information. Dom Lucre. People want to. This is 16K views and 3.1 million views that he posted it, and this was just yesterday. So please make this is going viral. Make the truth go viral. Let people know that, Ashton, you don't deserve credit. Why are you trying to take credit for this? Damn, no credit for making this connection. You get 1.5K views, likes on your. I can't even afford to get my blue check mark back right now. That's how much I'm struggling financially from going on the Danny Jones podcast and putting everything I've had into disclosure, and not getting any work this summer because of what the hell. I don't know what's going on with. I feel like people are calling my leads and tapping my phone and calling my leads and turning people off from hiring me. It's been you don't understand what has happened and things that have gone on. I was only able to like pay my bills because of the help that I received from like a couple donations here that people sent me. My Venmo is Jeremy RYS-AS. Okay, so people can Cash App me or Venmo me funds. That's the quickest way to get funds to me. I have to do this to support myself. Like, I have no choice right now. I'm not getting like work anywhere else, and every little bit helps with the disclosure efforts. If I'm going to take a whole day off, I might get a job. I'm hoping to get a job here in a couple of days that I desperately need, and if I don't get it, then I'm going to need donations to spend a whole day. Either way, I'm going to need to do donations in order to spend a whole day next week doing a citizens disclosure hearing, and I'm going to need some help with this citizens disclosure hearing. So anyone that wants to be involved in my citizens disclosure hearing for next week, okay, here's the link. It's coming up 10 a.m. on Monday, and if you want to be involved, and please reach out to me at TheAlienScientist. And I do have super chats. No, what is going on here? I haven't gotten any super chats this stream, but so Jeremy Riss at Proton Mail. Please email me and get involved, okay? If you want to be involved in the open citizens hearings, if you want to testify, if you're a whistleblower, email me, and if you want to help run the chat, moderate, anyone who wants to help out with this, anyone who can help out in any way with this citizens disclosure hearing for next week, please email me, get in touch, get on board. Let's get a time slot set up for you. Tell me if you're better in the morning, afternoon. And Patrick, $50, man. Thank you so much for that. I won't get it till the end of the month when Google AdSense sends out a payment. And YouTube also takes like 30% of that money. So people want a more direct way to give me the money where I'll get more of the money and get it faster. They can send it to my Venmo or my Cash App. I very much appreciate that. But yeah, dude, no worries, dude. Yeah, I know it sucks, dude. But it's cool. It's cool. I know, I understand. It's it is what it is, and but it's good that you did that here, because that gives me, because I can't physically post the donations through the Cash App and the Venmo stuff. I did get 2 last stream from Charles James, and I forget the other guy. Charles James sent me like $50, so that was, or $100. That was awesome. I'll whistleblow all day and I get science, and the fans don't mess with me, I'm done. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for whistleblowers that are getting silenced by the mainstream, not getting taken seriously, and getting shadow banned. That is what this channel is about. That is what where the real disclosure is. It's not in these limited hangout ops that they put together and have these fake hearings for Congress with the dog and pony show with guys like George Knapp coming in and being the ones to testify. There's so many questions you can ask George Knapp. Ask him about his wife and his father-in-law, and if he's ever been, debriefed by the CIA on UFOs. And, there's so much stuff we should be asking George Knapp, and that's the guy testifying at this hearing next week. I really want to have our own citizens hearings. I believe that, that these guys like Jeremy Corbell and Weaponized and the UFO revolution, obviously not the real revolution in UFOs, if you have a show on TMZ called UFO Revolution, but they've brought these fake whistleblowers out to basically like confirm you with nothing but stories, no evidence, right? And to confirm their crap disinformation, this immaculate constellation thing, which came from John Lear. It's disinformation. So they create this whistleblower to confirm their fake story and get confirmation for it, and then they get actual, good researchers like UAP Grib repeating this nonsense and destroying their credibility by repeating this kind of nonsense. And this guy has been a constant flop of disinformation stories after disinformation stories with fake whistleblowers. They promote these fake whistleblowers to prop up their fake stuff that they've been promoting for years. And, it's good editing, good music and entertainment value, all that stuff that this channel, I know, unfortunately lacks. But at the end of the day, there's no substance here and absolutely no legitimate truth and nothing behind it. And these fake whistleblowers. And then what's even worse is that Jeremy Corbell, after posting this shit, they get up there and they grandstand about. I very much appreciate that, man. That is much help, man. That like would help me out so much right now. I'm like, I get hit with I have $500 that they hit my overdraft. They hit my account for $500. I didn't have the money in my account. It hit my account anyway for my car insurance bill, and now I'm getting charged $30 a day on overdraft fees just for not having any money. And like, don't know how I'm going to get out of this one unless I get a job soon, which I don't know what's going on. But Jeremy Corbell with his fake whistleblowers. And then Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp will grandstand about, hey, if there's any other whistleblowers that have UFO information, they can come forward to us and we'll put their story out there and we'll get this information out to the public. And that is not true. These guys work for the DOD and they have a whistleblower trap. If you go to Jeremy Corbell or George Knapp with legit information, legit whistleblowing, legit science, legit anything classified, you'll get fucking arrested. They will have you fucking arrested. That is who these people are. They run a whistleblower trap. They put fake whistleblowers out, and then they say, hey, we're the guys to go to. If you have information, you can get it out. No. The minute you contact these two, you get fucking arrested. That's what really happens. Okay. That's the reality of it. A whistleblower trap is what these guys run. It's the same thing that David Wilcock did with Corey Good and all those other fake whistleblowers with the secret space program and all that stuff. They try to get real whistleblowers, see these crap fake whistleblowers talking about bullshit on these shows, getting tons of views and see this fake bullshit, and they're like, and it drives them nuts. And then they fucking, a lot of them will pick up the phone and be like, look, I gotta blow the whistle on this stuff, because these guys you're talking to have no fucking idea. They don't know any of the real shit. And then when you call up and go to Jeremy Corbell or one of those people, you get arrested. And that is a whistleblower trap. Do not trust these people. Do not trust these avenues. This is a way to trap people at the level of getting information out. If you want to get real information out, you don't want a whistleblower trap. You want honest, open source truth. This is the show. This is the show that you need to be on. This is the show that so many people have come out on first. So many whistleblowers have come out on this show first with their information. And this show is the original source of so much leakage. In fact, every time we've had a major story broken on this show is when Jeremy Corbell will come out with like huge information coming soon. He'll come out with this immediate announcement that, a huge, something huge is coming. And that's all a distraction. It's just something huge just dropped somewhere else. And Jeremy Corbell is literally providing the counterintelligence ops to distract the public from that. Because something huge is going to drop, and if it drops, it's going to be huge. It's going to be on Jeremy Corbell's podcast. If it was really huge and really important and real information, then Jeremy Corbell will be talking about it, right? No, that's not the case. These guys are a limited hangout op. They run controlled fake disclosure, and I've been calling them out for years for everything that they do. It's all nonsense on this channel, and every time we've covered a real whistleblower or something really important, he's immediately come out with some huge distraction and some huge counter narrative story. Like as soon as I came out and challenged him as soon as I was on Danny Jones' podcast, calling him out and challenging him to a real debate on Joe Rogan or one of these other shows, that's when he came right out with the Avi Loeb asteroid nonsense, and they hyped that up for the past couple weeks until it just recently fizzled out. That's what they do. They create a counter narrative. They get a big story going on some other bullshit, and they distract everyone from what really needs to happen, what really is going on. And I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. I've been tired of it for 7 years now, and I'm just wondering, how long can a guy, seriously just push out fake bullshit and fake UFO videos, fake UFO stories, and get debunked every single time in less than 24 hours, have everything he's ever come out with and put forth to the community debunked in less than 24 hours? And how can that person stay popular and in control of a narrative? How does that happen? Well, it doesn't happen without CIA backing, without the intelligence community funding you and pushing you in the algorithm and doing all that. So, and again, pushing you onto Joe Rogan, all these big influencer podcasts where Joe Rogan literally tells his audience that, I called Jeremy Corbell up and asked him. He told me that was bullshit. So Jeremy Corbell is, Joe Rogan, a major, massive influencer in the internet community, is literally going to this idiot for his information, is literally going to this lying, hoaxing sack of shit moron, and using him as his source for like, oh, this is how I vet stuff, right? Dude, Patrick of vetted would be better, for real. Anyways, he's a plant. Yeah, he's a plant. He talks about everything but the science. That's exactly what it is. I need marketing. I need exposure. I would hope he knows the deal, man. He's got to be bought and sold. Like, that's the only way I can explain Joe Rogan's behavior and how Joe Rogan's done on all this, And then, when Joe Rogan and, teamed up with Jesse Michaels to do this alien body stuff, that's the point where I knew, I'm like, this. He has to know. How does he not know? Is he really? like Sam was great, and the Sam Tripoli interview, and then also I thought it was awesome with Joe Rogan and AJ, right? The Y Files. That was great, right? 3 months ago when he had AJ on, and AJ just totally throws Elizondo and all these whistleblowers under the bus. That was awesome. That the reaction in the community off that, there were so many people going after that. Yeah, there was negatively, what is it? AJ, yeah, AJ definitely watches this channel. You can tell from the Y Files content that they've gotten some information from this channel, which is their researchers have. In fact, when they were looking for when Y Files was looking for, they were looking for writers, script writers and editors or researchers for their show and their podcast. They actually reached out to me. So, and asked me. I couldn't do it at the time. I just didn't have the availability. Dude, tons of people mine this channel for information and data and then claim it as their own. Like, look at friggin' Ashton Forbes, man. Ashton Forbes' last several videos have been all, stuff that we've covered on this channel or talked about on this channel. The TR3B Black Triangle Explained. Okay. Well, at least he had Jared on. Jared Yates is a good friend of mine and definitely one of the better sources out there. But yeah, and then he's giving shit about, me and Ashton agree on so much stuff. It's just that I don't like the videos, the I don't think those videos are legit, and I don't think that a lot of the stuff he does is legit. And then he also trash talks 9/11 truth and the 9/11 conspiracy stuff. And like, bro, like, go watch Kurt Weldon on and go watch my 9/11 playlist. Before you can criticize my 9/11 views or say you don't know if you believe what I have to say about 9/11, like, watch the videos that I've done. Me and John Cole, my uncle, worked on a lot of this stuff, put together a lot of these videos back in the day. And I have all his videos on here and my playlist. I have a whole 9/11 conspiracy mega playlist where we go into the science in depth and detail about everything. And yeah, that would be great to have AJ on my show. I just don't understand how you can have you can think those videos are real and have so many questions about MH370 and that whole case, but totally ignore and not look into, my 9/11 research and then say, you don't know if I believe that. And you don't think it has as much credit. And then he told people that, my evidence for 9/11 wasn't as credible as his evidence that those videos were real, and that he started comparing, his case evidence that he could present a better case for MH370 than I could for 9/11 if I was given a spot at one of these oversight hearings. And that's just ridiculous. Like, have you watched? I've never seen him do a real debate with most skeptics, he'll just block, or he'll do these hit piece videos and kind of respond to. I would love to see Ashton actually do a live debate with Professor Dave or one of these skeptics or Mick West, right? I've debated Mick West. I debated Michael Shermer on topics like 9/11 and others, right? You can find all those videos right up here on my 9/11 playlist, and Mick West does good things for the movement. If you're telling people that debunkers are bad, that means you're a grifter and that you don't want, criticism. Mick West notice Mick West has never put out a debunk of any of the things that we've put out on this channel. Mick West has never done a debunk on them. Why not? Because with real information doesn't get debunked. We need debunkers to sort out the crap information from the real information. In fact, Mick West has made a couple posts saying that, the APEC group and what we're doing and what I've done are pretty much the only legitimate scientific inquiry that he sees anywhere in this entire field. Yeah, I made Mick uncomfortable, and that's good. People need to be made uncomfortable, and they need to be challenged on their opinions and thoughts and beliefs, like I challenged him with real serious challenges. Yeah, that video is great, man. He definitely yeah, I know it's really unhealthy that people would be that you have Ashton Forbes scrambling to get credit for the Amy Eskridge video that I recorded and that Dom Lucre posted, right? So Dom Lucre posts the video, and here in the version that Dom posts, you can actually see my name and my face up there if you go, right? So there I am. I'm pretty dark, but there's my name. You can at least make out the name right there and read it, right? In the video that Ashton Forbes posts, that part's cropped. That whole part's cropped. Okay, so that's part's cropped. So I'm cropped out of it. So Ashton cropped me out of the picture, and then took credit for my video and my work. That's unhealthy, man. It's unhealthy that Ashton can't debate me and had his followers dox me and post my address and live information and stuff all on air. Just because I don't believe those MH37 videos are legit. And I think the Corridor crew did an excellent job showing how they were stock footage from the CGI editor that was used to make the videos, even though they can't find the original person. So, well, that's good, man. I'm glad he at least does that. But again, man, he needs to. I need to. Okay, so I haven't been following that, but I just feel like there's a lot of people burying the truth, and then again, all the people that think that her suicide was a murder or was suspicious, like, talk to the investigators. Where's the local police in Huntsville? How do the local police in Huntsville, the homicide detectives in Huntsville, feel about the Amy Eskridge case? Ask them if they have any evidence that, of foul play or anything like that. In fact, and then people accusing me of being, what's crazy is that what's crazy is that people investigating, saying that I should feel, people accusing me of being involved in all this. Wasn't Jeremy Corbell in Huntsville, Alabama during that same exact time? I've heard rumors that, like, he was there. I wasn't in Huntsville. I've never been to Huntsville. Mark went to Huntsville. He dated Amy, visited her at her house. That's like one of my best friends. So, like, what's going on? Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, so the other people, I guess, again, these other people destroying the narrative. Unfortunately, the view counts, whether it's dead internet and bot farming engagement, completely astroturfed engagement, I'm not sure, but they're getting a lot of views. So I'm not the one who's too focused on other people. I hate people say, like, oh no, you're too focused on other people, but, like, other people are getting all the focus and attention. How can I not talk about what everyone else is talking about? This is what is in the mainstream. This is the people going to testify at these hearings next week. And, for me not to talk about this is to not be relevant at all, like, so I guess, I mean, I don't know. She was on a lot of medications, I know. And she was obviously depressed. But the official ruling is that she shot herself in the back of her house with suicide. And I don't have any evidence or reason to question that narrative. Some people believe that they do, but I don't know, man. Yeah, they want people to forget about me, focus on all these other people, and yeah, I'm not putting much energy towards that. Like I said, I did a bit of digging into the MH370 case again. I have all the she's not a YouTube person, man. She's the daughter of a NASA scientist, and she came we met her through the Estes Park conference, and James Woodward and Keith Wanser and all those guys. And crazy, dude. But yeah, the hearings are going to be a waste of time. They're purposely wasting Congress's time. They're purposely wasting our time with the people that they're bringing in front of Congress, and the entire thing is a scam, just like the Epstein files release, just like the JFK files oversight stuff, all that stuff. Again, we cannot trust our government. Our government refuses to even release the names of Epstein's clients and who was involved in that. It goes so deep into the corruption that it's a waste of time even to ever think that you're going to get answers or information out of the government, which is why we're having our own citizens hearing, man. This is gonna happen. Okay, just like we had a citizens hearing on 9/11. We learned way more about 9/11 from doing citizens independent investigations over the last 15 years than we ever learned before that. So the best way to get information out is for citizens to have their own hearings. So, I mean, I'm sorry I didn't set this up and think of this sooner and really plan this out longer ahead of time, but this is important. I think if we have our own hearing, I'm going to at least have Eric Hecker come testify, if not others, for other whistleblowers to talk about all this stuff. And we're going to have our own citizens hearing the day before the government's fake limited hangout dog and pony show hearing. And I'm going to represent my entire case of case evidence of all the UFO science stuff that I've researched over the years, and I'm going to present all that. I'll start it off with that first thing in the morning, and then we're going to move into whistleblower testimonies at 12 o'clock. I'm going to go for 2 hours, and then we're going to open it up to, you know, people come on and testify. And I want people, you know, if you want to set it up beforehand and give me information about you and what you want to testify about, what you want to talk about, I'm doing time slots now. And Jeremy Riss at proton.me again is the email address that people should email. If you email me there, you can get a hold of me. I understand there's some people that are involved with stuff that's too classified to talk about and email beforehand. If you want catastrophic disclosure, just jump right in the live stream on a live link and drop what you got to drop, like right there. That would be the best way to have real catastrophic live disclosure, is if UFO Snowden just shows up on my live stream for the citizens hearing and drops a whole bunch of stuff that nobody was ready for, nobody thought would come, and that would be the best way to do it. That's what I'm focusing on. This is UFO disclosure. I don't care about the other personalities or debates with them. They want to steal credit and do all that. That's fine, man. But it's we're gonna do all this, man, and the subjects are not clear. They're very, very complex, and we're gonna provide some clarity for all this and some context and background and experimentation. You know, the experiment is the arbitrator of competing hypotheses. So it really is. It needs to come out. People want to get involved. They can email me there. People want to help fund and support the disclosure work that we're doing. They could do so with Venmo or Cash App is the best ways to send money directly to me. If I appreciate the super chats, like as always, but they don't get to me for a month, and YouTube also takes about 30% of that money. So if you want to see more of the money go directly to me and help me out with disclosure, help me out with everything that's going on. But 9/11 and the Epstein case are both tied to UFO disclosure. You understand that 9/11 and the war on terror was to create massive amounts of funding for the military industrial complex. And that missing $2.3 trillion that Rumsfeld announced missing the day before, a lot of that went into these black programs for research and into this kind of stuff. Trillions missing dollars. So trillions missing from the budget and everything, and also the cover-ups and the files and everything. It's all very much related. Don't forget that, you know, Epstein's neighbor being Howard Lutnick, having Epstein having the painting of Bill Clinton in the blue dress, and also having the painting of George Bush in doing 9/11, right? So Epstein Clinton painting, right? We all know about that, right? And the image of the 9/11 painting. That's all, you know, important, because the Epstein network is the Iran-Contra network. That's the Khashoggi. Those are the arms traffickers and drug dealers. That a lot of the CIA dark money and black money comes from those types of people. And that's, if you want to find the UFO file and get UFO disclosure, you need to source that dark money and find out where that dark money is coming from and where it's going to. So that's all a key part of unraveling the same UFO disclosure mystery. Also, don't forget that Epstein hosted parties on his island with prominent gravity researchers and UFO people. He was super interested in UFO disclosure and the UFO narrative and alternative science narratives, including trying to infiltrate Eric Weinstein and his group for the work that he was doing. So, bro, Sean, look at my setup. I had a $30,000 setup with fucking pro computers and pro microphones, and it all got fucking stolen. It all got fucking robbed from me, bro. Like, I've had everything fucking taken from me. Look at my setup, bro. You buy me a new fucking setup. Send me fucking some money right now so I can buy a better setup. Like, how am I gonna look at my setup? Yes, I had a fucking $30,000 setup. I got fucking robbed in the middle of all this stuff. People, they shut me the fuck down, bro. Like, I will never ever, like, bro, I don't even have a room to do my podcast in. I'm in my fucking living room, bro. My fucking setup, bro. Like, everything's fucked now. I need a professional setup. I need a professional studio. These people pushing disinformation on a massive scale, like George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell. These guys have the CIA backing them with millions of dollars. They have a team of producers, a team of editors. They have a whole studio with professional video equipment and cameras and all that stuff, okay? How the fuck do I compete with that? I'm comparing, you're the one comparing me against billionaires, bro. Like, fuck, man. Look at your comment. Why don't wonder why your views are declining? Look at your setup. Because you're comparing me to fucking billionaires, bro. For real, man. What the fuck? I'm doing my job and I have information, and all I can do is get the information. All I can do is get the information out there. That's all I can focus on right now. I don't have time to focus on getting a fucking background so you can be happy, Sean. Okay? I really don't. Okay? That's what, if my background is what's important to you and what's bothering you right now, then you're in the wrong fucking place. Go watch Jeremy Corbell and go look at awesome video, $1 billion CIA backed video editing and production. that's what you like. Oh, there's another channel you could go check out. It's called Jesse Michaels. Okay. You know, you might know this guy. His boss is a guy named Peter Thiel. He works as an investor for Peter Thiel, the guy who, you know, helped found Palantir and is basically like doing all the dirty work for the CIA right now. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, well, his yeah, this guy, you could maybe contact him and ask him, you know, where the fuck is my 50 grand? Because he put out a fucking a contest with a prize, you know, saying, hey, 50 grand for anyone who could do this Biefeld-Brown effect test in a hard vacuum. Well, we fucking did it, man. And that video is brought up to you on Joe Rogan, showed to you on Joe Rogan, and you couldn't even name who made the video or talk about it. You're like, that's something else. And it was obvious to anyone who watched that knows me and knows the video and knows the context that you had your chance. You had your chance to draw attention to real scientists, to real information and real research that was going on. And you fucking failed. You haven't given us the 50 grand. You haven't even given us the fucking credit we deserve on Joe Rogan and the shout out we fucking deserve. And instead of that, right, you go and promote the scientists, the fake scientists working for fucking Jaime Maussan and the ones that are chopping up fucking mutilating human remains and children's corpses and then selling them as fucking aliens, mummies, mummified alien remains to the public. That's the shit that you fucking did, Jesse Michaels. But where's my fucking 50 grand, bitch? I could fucking use that money a lot right now. 50 grand would fucking save my life. It would fucking turn disclosure around. 100% would make fucking disclosure happen. I could do so much with 50 grand. Like 50 grand is like nothing. They give Jeremy Corbell 50 grand to go buy a new fucking watch every 6 months. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. The best proof of UFOs? What about the 1940s Denmark UFO case, where they were chased a UFO in Denmark and it dropped the piece of UFO metal that was taken into custody and transferred through several hands before it went to Battelle and disappeared into a black hole. How about that UFO evidence? It looks just like that Bob White artifact and other pieces of metal dropped by UFOs, man. Yeah, dude, he doesn't have to contribute because my background sucks, dude. But anyways, I'm not here to pick on people or start fights with audience members, man. Thank you for being here, Sean. Thank you for your comments. You know, I appreciate your input. I wish I didn't have $30,000 of my equipment and my podcast stuff stolen from me. I wish that I had investors and people backing me, and I wish I had billionaires, you know, coming to my help, like a lot of these people do, helping them out and promoting their channels and their work. If I had that, I would be in a lot better position. I'd probably be a lot nicer and happier too. But, you know, unfortunately, you know, you're fighting against these people who steal all your thunder, steal credit for the work that you did, and get thousands of likes on their checkmark channel that doesn't get shadow banned for some reason. You know, a lot of these people can post all kinds of stuff, threatening people, violent speech, saying we should bomb entire countries, you know, like Sarah Adams there, the CIA agent, saying that we should bomb the whole Middle East and kill all the Muslims. And those people don't get, you know, banned permanently for violent hate speech and violent speech. But God forbid I challenge an MMA fighter who threatened me to a fight or anything like that, because I got banned. That's what I got my entire Twitter account banned for. Yeah, challenging a fucking MMA fighter who said he was going to beat my ass and telling him I'd fight him anytime, any place. And that's why I got my fucking channel banned. I don't turn around. I don't deal with threats. I stand up to people who threaten me, just like I stood up to Ashton Forbes when I had death threats sent to my phone. The people that sent death threats to me. My address is out there. You could come find me. Come visit me. Come to my house. Come try to kill me. See what fucking happens to you, man. Fuck.
This doesn't sound like a normal fucking podcast. It sounds like somebody wants to do things with their life.
Yeah. Well, I try to do a lot of stuff with my life, and don't know what to do with my life anymore, man. It's obviously this podcast isn't working. So maybe I'll just, after this UFO disclosure hearing next week, when nobody shows up, nothing happens, and nothing goes on, maybe I'll just quit the podcast and end it, because I don't have a reason to do these podcasts anymore. I really I don't know what to do, man. Don't know what to do. You know, I think my podcasting days are over. I think this whole thing's is ending. So, in any case, yeah, I've been very dangerous to them, and they've shown it to me. They've completely shut me down, dude. Anyways, I gotta go. I'll see you guys later. Have a great night, and thank you for anyone who donated me some funds. I really appreciate that, and my family really appreciates that. I hope you guys. Yeah, it's fucked up, man. I'm gonna go. I thank you guys, man, and I really hope that things turn around for me here in the next week. Later.